Hello, everybody, and welcome to the stream. I am Razim, and I'm helping Wereni out with his campaign on PowerWasher. Or PowerWash Simulator. I think mine's stronger.
So here we have a very tough challenge to start off with.
Tough, yeah. Actually, this one can be a little tricky. Mostly because of all the stuff inside that's hard to really get sometimes. Yeah, it is. Sorry, Jaffer. Wernie's not actually completed the campaign, so... But at some point, we'll be doing the, when Sada's available, we'll be doing the new stuff that they've released, so there's that.
Here we go.
Oh, it's done? It doesn't pop up for me. Well, Wostein, you got a new subscriber. At least for 1 month. Wernie needs to stream again.
Someday, once I move. I miss streaming. I really miss streaming. Can't do it here.
Yeah. God, these old tools are so slow. The yellow nozzle is probably the best to use. It's got the best coverage while still having enough power to actually clean.
Alright.
Spray, spray, spray all the things. I hope things go well for you, Wostein. Wee. Wee. Oh, it's fine, whoa. Like, just because you're an affiliate doesn't mean that you need to take it all the way, you know?
Yeah, so just do it as chill or as much as you want.
It mainly just gives you access to more toys to use with it. Also, Will, you should totally join Voice. Have a chat with us. I see. You put in the RAL. But it should say Duke. So you got any plans for tomorrow, Wereni? Hello?
Oops, I was muted. Yeah, I'm not making any plans tomorrow until I know what's gonna go on, because I honestly have no idea how like chaotic things could be tomorrow. So I just gonna have to see.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know that. Huh?
oh yeah, I'm officially an uncle now.
Ah. I wasn't sure if that already happened yet or not, but congrats, I think.
Yeah. Just oh boy.
It's okay. You only have to watch them a little bit.
Gosh, I hope I don't have to watch them at all.
Oh, whoa, are you going for the, are you going for the, blah, 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 training finally? In 2 days? This game is so satisfying.
It is.
Just watching as everything gets cleaned away.
Mm-hmm.
So what even is the job, Wostein? 5 days of 10-hour classes for certification. Going back home, studying proper, and taking the test. Then applying for local relevant jobs. Oh, that's what you're doing.
What is he doing?
I thought he was going for an actual, like, job interview or something. So you're going for certification. What kind of jobs? What are you distracted with? Wereni.
Yeah.
There are extensions for the gun that probably should grab.
Okay. What extension?
There should be medium and long. I'd probably just go for the long one. Make sure you get it for the right one, though. It makes jobs like this much easier. Washy, washy, washy.
I got an extension.
Cool. You're going for cathodic protection with the local businesses? You tried going outside of oil and gas for money and finally caved? Ah. Do you know how to equip the extension?
Yeah.
Okay. Wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
I am glad that the coal power plant's going offline, though. Like,
Coal power is literally like the worst one.
yeah. The oil isn't much better.
Yeah. Politicians still trying to say things like clean coal, even though it's something that cannot exist and will never exist.
Yep. And yet they try and push it anyways.
Mm-hmm. They keep throwing money at it, even though like every time they've tried it, it's failed. Most times, most companies, they like give up on they give up on it within like not even getting prototype stuff done.
Hey
Like,
there,
oh, we'll get the
Puffy.
technology for it, but then they never do.
It blew out a turbine when they shut down the non-upgraded generators and put all the extra load on the remaining one. Oh. Oh, geez. Don't believe it was any casualties as safeties prevented catastrophic, but still a bit rough. Yeah, I imagine so. They still really just... For me, I think, like, the government could give... I understand coal is the way of life for some people. But what about switching over to other options? Maybe give tax breaks or something, like... Just let coal die and switch to something else.
Yeah, they really need to let coal die because it's not a feasible option at all anymore. Because like both like for what's the right thing to do and for what's economical to do. Like, it's not economical to use coal at all, and they keep propping it up because coal companies kind of just suck off all the politicians for the past 100 years.
I really wish solar power would get more attention. Like, wind's great and all, but we could literally just throw solar panels on top of the roofs of basically every house, and boom, that would be a huge help.
Yeah, it would help with the peak power. We need a way to store it, and we need like a good base load power. So like doing that, mix it with nuclear as nuclear plants is like the base load, and you're good.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, GibGab. Coal is more expensive long term. But if all anybody cares about is the short term.
Yep.
And it's only cheaper right now because things are already set up for it. Literally the only reason it's the cheaper option. I understand that solar panels on every building would not be as efficient as they would be elsewhere. But imagine if every building was generating at least a little bit of its own power. From what I understand, I mean, especially if you start sticking it on the sides of like skyscrapers and stuff. What do you mean by that? Gib, Gib, maybe you should rejoin voice. I'll be honest, I don't know all of the numbers and such on this stuff. This is just from what I've heard and seen that I think would be good.
Boo.
Hi.
Yeah, hello. You're
Running
fine.
around.
I went and took a nap, so now I'm more awake again.
You took a 5-minute nap?
I didn't take a 5 minute. I took like a 10-minute nap, maybe 20. More? Let me double check. When did I sleep? I took a 20-minute nap. Yeah. And by nap, I mean I kind of leaned against the armrest of my chair and I fell asleep in a super contorted position, and now my wrist hurts.
Oh. I had a friend that did that once and woke up to his wrist being broken.
Ugh, yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I could have broken was my arm, but I just had my wrist hurting because I was like in an uncomfortable position. But that is actually a possibility I want to avoid. Solar panels, though. I'm not fully up to date on the details. So, like, things may have changed since I last know, but essentially, the thing about power is we want to kind of avoid just placing solar panels everywhere because solar panels are, it's not that they're like super expensive to manufacture, but they do take a lot of materials that are deemed like toxic or that need very specialized treatment to safely process. And that if you just throw it in a landfill, that's a lot of toxic waste that we don't want being thrown in a landfill. So the more solar panels we use, the more negative the return on investment because we're generating more toxic waste. So it's not a bad idea to place them, a bit more spread out to kind of secure the power network. Like we don't want all solar panels in one solar farm and then a cloud passes overhead and the country loses power because that
Yeah.
would be unfortunate. But
But
we
from what
also
I
don't want it.
understand, Japan's managed to do it. From what I understand, Japan has solar panels on almost every building, and it's been able to, like, they have basically only their solar panel. Like, no, that's not the only thing, but pretty dang close.
It's because a lot of countries are seeing very rapid growth in solar generation. It's tough to say because even like the countries with the most solar don't actually have that much solar as a component of their whole power network. Like Japan, last I remember, granted, I did an essay on this last year. That information was a little teensy tiny bit outdated, but it should be updated enough. I know Japan was getting a lot of solar panel growth. It was one of the countries with the most solar panel growth, but it's still like less than 10% of their overall power generation.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
they import a lot of natural gas for natural gas plants since they shut down all their nuclear plants.
Which is what I was gonna say. That honestly, I'm very optimistic for the future of renewables because cost is going down. I just think
Yeah.
the most important thing with renewables is going to be we want to avoid running into the same issue we're running into right now with fossil fuels, that they're basically unsustainable the way we're using them, because the renewables can be unsustainable just in a different way. Like a lot of the a lot of the components that is required to manufacture them and to process their power requires either materials that are kind of rare, um, requires specific electronics that can be hard to produce, and again, toxic waste. Those things are not very nice, and we do want to like minimize that.
To
So
be
with
fair,
power, hmm?
I just want to point out that what we're using right now with coal is also producing toxic waste.
Oh, I know, I'm all for replacing it. I just like, I know what you mean, because I also want to get rid of coal so much. I mm, I have a particular disdain for coal. Actually, I'll get to it in a minute. Um, the thing is, like, to me, for renewable power, the most important thing is going to be having a more well-rounded portfolio with different
Oh yeah.
sources that we take advantage of. And we do want to avoid, like, let's place a wind turbine in every backyard and a solar panel on every roof, because that I feel is going to do a lot of harm to rolling out renewables long term for every country. Because imagine, like imagine here in Florida, right? We say, hey, you know what? We can take advantage of wind power. Let's place a solar panel on every house and every building. And then it turns out Florida generates I don't know how many billion tons of toxic waste that cost the state a bunch of money to like go through. Suddenly, solar panels going to look a lot less appealing overall for people. And
But on that
you know,
front, like, those things can be recycled. Like, you get
mm,
you set up, that's another thing that we really need to do. They see more on a federal level. Because, like, I know Utah, one thing I liked about Utah was that they were putting in, basically, they were saying, okay, everybody, you are all now getting a recycling bin. We don't care if you don't like it, but you're getting it, so you might as well use it. That was basically what they were saying to people in Utah. And for me, I'm like, that's the way to do it. Like, because the biggest hindrance to to everything renewable and such, convenience. That is the #1 name of the game when it comes to anything, especially here in America. People are lazy. I'm lazy. I don't want to go out of my way to take my recyclables to some random place in the middle of nowhere. But if I can just put it in a little blue bin and put it out in the front of my yard every week, yeah, sure. Take this different variety of garbage.
Yeah, convenience is like a very big one for people. Like, it's not gonna get used if it's not convenient to use.
Mm-hmm. But that's kind of what I'm saying. Like,
I also want to say, like, here in Nebraska, there is no recycling. I haven't been able to find a single recycling facility at all. And I don't know if it's just, like, not... I don't know if one exists and it's just hidden, which is bad, or if there just isn't one, which is also bad.
Honestly, 50-50 chance. Because this is the thing, right? Like, a lot of times recycling plants are more expensive than landfills. So, to the end user, it doesn't make that much of a difference convenience-wise. But if you have to ask the government, hey, would you rather dig a hole in the ground and dump your trash in there? Or would you rather build a, I don't know how many $1 million facility to properly and safely dispose of all the stuff that we should be disposing of carefully? You can guess what they're gonna say. Which is also, like, that's the other side of solar. Like, maintaining solar is going to require a lot of infrastructure changes, and we definitely don't want to make them worse. And granted, I'll admit, I'm actually a little bit personally a solar pessimist, because I feel like it's going to be I feel overall that it's going to be the one we're going to roll out the fastest without preparations for the consequences, and then that's going to hurt a lot. Which is not going to be fun. If anything, I tend to be a bit more optimistic about wind, hydroelectric, and nuclear.
I agree, Wostein. That is another thing that is like... There are so goddamn many things that are just thrown away in this country. I mean, I will... Years ago, I worked for a company where I went into my local Walmart and gave samples of various products to customers. And every day I was told, okay, go in and buy this much of this product. And I was required to buy it all. I had a company credit card, but... So I would go in and buy it. And I would use less than half. Usually. Sometimes not even that. And their policy, which legally it's apparently stealing, to take the leftovers home, but I didn't give a damn. Maybe the law of the land, but it is definitely not the morally right choice to just throw away all of that stuff. Yeah, the policy was throw away anything that's not used. And it's not like I can understand why they would have that, because otherwise people would purposely not give as much to customers and all that stuff. But me, I didn't exactly want to take home 500 bottles of Frappuccino. So I'm sitting there like, okay, here you go. I'm supposed to give out, I'm supposed to open this bottle, pour it into a little cup, and give you that cup. Here, have a whole bottle. And even then, I only gave out 5 bottles the entire day. Like,
Yeah.
I was not being stingy with it. I wanted people to take this stuff, but God, that job was... I dealt with so many Karens with that job. Mainly the ones that are parents, because there was a policy that we were not allowed to serve anything to children without their parent in front of the cart. One, because, well, the kids aren't going to be buying the product. But two, you know, allergens. Kids aren't always paying attention to allergens. And I got so many parents that were so mad at me for not letting them, their kids come running up and grabbing all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm sorry. This is the rule. I ain't breaking it. Yes, I see you all the way down there at the end of the aisle, but no, you need to come to this cart. USA is not the only dumb country, but it is definitely dumb. We do a lot of things wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the parents would, or they would want me to throw away all this stuff, and I'm like, I cannot, in good conscience, throw this away. Absolutely not. I refuse. Luckily, my boss was, you know, several, 100 miles away, but... So he never caught me, but, you know. There's so much waste in this country. I know, like 7-Eleven, they put out their little snacks on their rollers, and for them, they used to give out stuff for free, and then they had to stop because some asshole got sick and sued 7-Eleven over it, and it's like, dude, you were given a free Tostito or whatever the hell they're called. The Tornado, that's the word.
Taquito, whatever.
Taquito, yeah. You were given a free product. You were told that it was old, that it had been on the roller forever. You don't have any ground to stand on. But you know the... Huh?
That doesn't even just extend to the thing, like, the America's particularly frivolous with lawsuits at times. Some of it are just ridiculous. Like, what was it,
Or very
person
too
who-
happy. It's
like,
so
there was
dumb.
yeah, like, I'm still remembering that the person who, like, sued someone else because they tried to break into a family home and they got bitten by a dog. So they sued the family for damages and had the dog euthanized.
Oh, yeah. There's a few stories like that. I know in Utah, there was a guy that broke into a family's home while they were on vacation.
Right.
And he got... something happened, and he got stuck in their... he got stuck in their garage. And he had to live in there for a week before they came back living only on dog food. And it's like, oh, sucks to be you. You broke in. But no. The government decided that he was in the right, apparently. I still don't know
Whack.
how.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, so much of it just comes down to like, at least to me, the legal system being so flexible to accept that kind of thing, which I both like and dislike. I like it because it does allow for a lot of flexibility in interpretation of things, but I also think it's sometimes so stupid. And ideally, what would happen is, oh, the legal system let this pass. Well, then we should pass a law to like prevent it, right? But you know, that's hard.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. One thing's for sure, we need to get rid of the party, so.
I
Or
don't
at the
mind voting.
least, give us a third party. We need a
No.
tiebreaker.
No, third parties don't work in two-party systems. All they result in is one of the parties losing every time. Third party never works in two-party system. You need something to break it entirely. Usually that's something like ranked choice voting, which means instead of voting for one candidate and the winner takes all, you get to say like, I like this candidate the most. This one second, this one third. And then you go by removing the bottom most voted candidate until like everyone's vote is until one of them reaches 50%. That way you like it's so easy to break apart two-party systems with little changes like those.
Yeah, we really should redo our voting to like ranked choice voting because right now people just vote for whatever candidate they think is like the most viable to get their flavor of party and you end up with shitty
Yeah.
candidates.
That's why the third party wouldn't really work. It's either it needs to be it needs to break apart more. I mean, like I make fun of my friends sometimes because one of them lived in a country, I think it was Belgium or the Netherlands, that like basically they couldn't get a government together because they didn't have enough like the parties didn't have enough agreement and power together. So they basically didn't have a government for like 2 years doing anything, at least in terms of like the legislative branch.
Yeah, I remember
where-
that.
Wereni,
Yeah.
can you afford the next upgrade, the next version of the sprayer? Or no?
The Urban X2.
Yeah.
Urban X, yeah.
I mean, it's up to you what you want to get, but... You what?
Yeah, I bought it.
Cool.
Is it
That'll
right?
make this much faster.
But yeah, I used to poke fun at them, but honestly, that's exactly how it was supposed to work. And turns out, when they finally had enough agreement, it did work. They got a bunch of laws passed. And then it broke apart again until they had to pass more things that they agreed with.
Yeah.
Hey, it worked for them. It's, you know, it's fancies. Honestly, though, I didn't get to rant about it, but you know what I am super optimistic about?
Hmm.
I want nuclear power in the future again.
Oh, yeah.
I am very much for nuclear power myself. So see if you ever get fusion working, which is a long ways away.
Mm-hmm. See, the thing is, right? I love this
See you
because-
later, Wilkcheck.
Oh boy.
And yeah, Endo, I hate stupid people. Oh, hey, Seda. Yeah, we're talking about your favorite thing.
Oh
Nuclear
yes,
power?
environmental scientist. You gotta pull him in here.
I think Seda
Bring
needs
Seda
sleep, though. As much as I would love to hang out with Seda.
No, here he is.
Mm-hmm.
Say does.
You had me for a grand total of 2 minutes.
We're talking about science.
I know, and I'm disappointed you didn't invite me.
I thought you went to bed.
You know I say
But-
good night before I head to bed.
Yeah, and I saw you popped into my chat earlier and then nothing since, so I assumed that you went to bed already.
No, I saw your stream crash, so I hit the panic button. And then went back to work and aren't. Mow 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 mow
Oh.
mow 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 mow.
Mal.
Mow.
But, yeah. Also, I definitely love to answer you and Avi's questions that you guys were asking about. That would be
Well, I mean,
fun.
Ivy's going to bed. Ivy's going to bed, and I'm not too far behind him.
I know. I'm not talking about right now.
Are you sure?
I would love to spend more time with my friend. But I also care about my friend's health and what he wants and what he needs. That is more important to me than myself and what I want.
Play to sleep important.
Indeed. Also, Wostein, what do you do?
Wolstein is
What
now
do-
an affiliate
Oh,
and did some emotes for his channel.
Congrats, Wolfstein.
look, since it's like 4:30 in the morning and I have to be up in like 2 hours, like my brain did not register like the. Oh wait, you weren't affiliate before. E-boats. Ah. Those are so good.
I guess you could say all of them look good. Eh?
Oh, absolutely, and I'm not going to be angry at that pun.
So you popped in because we were talking about science and
How actually investing in nuclear fission reactors is going to be our best shot at curbing the dangerous effects of the climate crisis?
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you want the short of it, nuclear power is, relatively speaking, especially if we can get some of the legal unnecessariness at times dealt with. It can be very cheap, really, really, really cheap and efficient, and very non-pollutant. We just have to deal with nuclear waste, which honestly just requires that we go like, hey, let's put the nuclear waste here and build a thing to take care of it. As in, bury it forever. Although honestly, I'm still a big proponent of trying to send it to the sun, but I guess we need Kerbal Space Program 3 for that.
We probably need like. I mean, actually, like it is easier to leave our solar system than it is to actually like get anything into the sun.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what?
like the amount of
We just start launching all of our nuclear waste into space. And 10 billion years later, we get some aliens that come over and are like, stop throwing shit on our lawn!
I mean, look, realistically, it's probably very hard to send a bunch of waste up into space because, well, it's radioactive and it's heavy and it's a lot of it.
when
Getting
also,
anything up the well is hard.
I mean, it's also one of the primary reasons why, despite there being miniature nuclear reactors, technologically possible. That would make a lot of sense for like the International Space Station, so you don't have to rely on solar panels that degrade over time. Yeah, when you have a rocket that maybe has let's say a 0.1% chance of failure, you don't want that 0.1% chance to be, when it's carrying a nuclear reactor, because now you've just made a nuclear missile.
Like I said, you just made an ICBM, so don't. Wait until we get better technology before we start sending shit up. Even though if we get like a Boon base or something going, we want a reactor up there for that.
Yeah, but even then, like, it's going to be one of those very tricky hurdles to overcome, because even if you have the purest, scientific intentions in mind, yeah, your risk assessment for that's just going to be astronomical.
Yep.
Yeah. But either way, like, I will say, if we can just build at least 1 or 2 long-term storages, I think nuclear power is golden for the future. It's, like, it's so cheap, and 99% of the time, you literally require the stars to align before there even is a nuclear accident. And even when there is, it's... I like that nuclear has a lot of transparency and concern behind it, because that's what keeps it safe. That's what I really love about it. But I also hate it because, like, oh hey, a coal power plant exploded and killed 50,000 people. Nobody notices. One nuclear incident irradiates one town and, I don't know, kills like 100 people. Oh well, let's close every single nuclear power plant in the country.
Yeah, well,
That's not even Fukushima.
the very clear difference is that, waste from, let's just say, like a coal power plant can be, relatively speaking, very localized, and also has very clear protective measures. You can wear certain certain quality of mask, and if you're in a polluted area, you can drink, bottled water, and like the coal ash, in terms of just pure contact, is not going to kill you or any kind of like other pollution there. Like, you actually have to have some kind of like ingestion, or like, I guess, like direct, like permeable skin contact.
And even
Nuclear
then,
waste,
like,
yeah, like like you can
Yeah,
do
that will kill you.
you can do very easy PPE to counteract some of these polluted issues. Nuclear, if there's nuclear waste around, that's gonna get everywhere. It's gonna get into everything. Um,
Yeah.
and the thing is, like, radiation, is either a very rapid or a very slow and silent killer.
Though also, as far as I understand, coal ash
hey,
is radioactive as well.
there's always that, chance that radiation could also make you a furry.
Get out and your stream.
But why?
You did it bad.
What? You don't want to be TF'd? Radiation TF?
That's how hard
TFs
it works
your
in the world.
white blood cells into dead.
What were you gonna say, Seda?
Like, not how these things work in the real world.
Unfortunately.
Probably a good thing. Otherwise, we'd have a lot of irradiated furries running everywhere.
No, you just have one of them working at a nuclear reactor, and the person would decide, what if I want to TF everyone around me?
AKA AKA the Warnimal response.
A lot of you may die, but
Yes.
this is a sacrifice that I'm willing to make. God. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I did think coal ash was radioactive from what I read, no? Like, just actually radioactive, to the point where if you work in
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah, because like I was reading about people who work in nuclear power plants, and apparently I was reading about how one of them went to a coal power plant, where they were examining things regarding coal ash, and he went back to the nuclear power plant and forgot to do some of the decontamination safety procedures. He technically couldn't come back to the plant, so he approached it, and basically every sensor in the nuclear power plant lit up, and it was just him from having been in the near the coal power plant.
Time frame, give me back my clothes.
Or like being at a blast furnace or somewhere with like iron ore. A lot of that can end up radioactive.
I know it's not to the same extent, but I don't know if coal ash is, especially over long term, smaller exposure, is still any less harmful.
Oh yeah, no, like it's like I think the core thing there is the civilian exposure. If like you had like an event.
Jaffer is saying he's been to. I know Jaffer, your mom, right? She works as a nuclear power something like that. I can never remember exactly what it is. But he's been to a nuclear reactor and an open pool reactor at that.
Oh, those are cool.
Those are really cool.
I want to jump into the pool. I want to
Technically
the
could,
spicy
because
water.
water's a very good moderator. So like the top of the pool is perfectly safe.
Just gotta dive down.
The pool.
Just gotta dive down to the spicy water.
Yeah.
No, bad.
No.
Start growing fur. Anyways, you were saying Zeta?
I'm gonna go to bed. It's 4:26 in the morning, and I need to be up in 2 hours.
Oh no.
Okay,
Yeah, go to
sleep well.
bed, Zeta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because parents are out of the house, and I gotta feed the horse in the morning.
Oof.
Sleep well.
Yep,
Don't let
good
it
night.
nibble your hand.
Maybe
Nighty,
someday
Zeta.
we'll get to hang out again.
We're literally going to hang out in less than 24 hours for Pokerolls. Don't,
Have you checked the channel?
I've not checked the channel.
You should go do that before you go sleep. I haven't checked it in a bit, but there's discussion of canceling it for Wereni.
Oh, I'm down with that if it's a big story moment.
Same.
Okay, cool.
Well,
So
go
I'm literally
post
not
if you
going to see
are.
you for. I'm going to literally not see you for a week then.
Oh.
Not really?
Hey. Bye.
No, I'm teasing him.
It's a very hurtful tease. But I do hope you sleep well. So go sleep.
Okay, my brain's too tired, and my immediate comment was something I'm like, is this something I can say on Twitch?
Well, now I don't want to know what that was. Send it in DMs.
I will send it in DMs.
I am eagerly awaiting this message. This spicy side of Seda. 50 Shades of Dart.
Spicy dart,
no.
and it's just Dart holding a uranium rod.
Oh no.
I think that's fine to say on Twitch.
I don't know. It might give the internet the wrong idea.
It might. But it's fun. I mean, I come in and call Gib Gab a good boy all the time.
I'll hate you.
But why? I didn't do it.
Or did you?
You came close.
No.
Close enough to be worth a Pokeball. Not an anvil, but a Pokeball.
Anyway, Seda, go sleep.
Good night.
Love your face.
Boodoo.
Hopefully. Oh, okay. Yeah, so, time frame. Few things. Nuclear radioactive waste is pollution, is just treated differently. The thing about radioactive waste is that, thankfully, the reactor produces it in much more controlled ways. So it's a lot easier to handle if done correctly. It's not like coal pollution or oil pollution. That's nearly impossible to control at this point, especially on the scale at which we produce it.
Shall not fall.
Danica!
Totally rated my stream with 14 viewers.
Danica! Hello there, turkey rats. How was your stream, Danica? And would you like a regular shout out, or would you like a random clip from your channel brought up? Hello there, Amica Jen. Or Amika Jen? A random clippy. Let's see the clip. Just, is this clip just you eating on stream?
Alright.
All right, that's the walking sound.
Alright, we'll go ahead and clean up your shit. I'll be playing a while.
That's one thing that always cracked me up is the people, they know the meme of the flashlight, but they don't realize it's actually really fucking powerful. It's just the armor is that good.
Yo. Oh.
Like a lasgun could vaporize a hole through you with like any modern day armor.
Chris Obs, both Jaffer and Chris Obs did the command.
That works.
So yeah, it's playing a double clip.
Behind shooter.
Engaging critical target.
Got him.
Well, that was Danica, everybody. Thank you very much for that raid, though, and sharing your community with me, Danica. I really appreciate it. I hope your stream, so you had a hate raid? Jeez, I'm sorry to hear that. But I hope the rest was good. I mean, tier 6 hype train's definitely a good thing. We're currently talking about nuclear power while cleaning up volcanic ash. Oh wait, spoilers. I mean, we're cleaning up mysterious black stuff that is totally not coming from the volcano that actually is invisible in the distance from here. Huh. Well, never mind.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack in what time frame is saying, so I'm like, I'm itching to respond.
Well, before you do, I just want to say, Danica, I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing and coming by and giving that raid. And I'm really just stalling for time and to make Gib Gab itch a little more. And just a little bit more. And a little bit more. And I
can
think
wait.
something
I have time and
happened to the
patience.
chat. Because my chat thing just says, it just popped up with welcome to the chat room. But yeah, Danica, if you need to go and take care of yourself, by all means do so. Thank you so much for that braid. Everyone that came in, make sure that you hit that follow button and come join us again. And for those that are already here, share the love with Danica. They are a fantastic streamer themselves. They do a lot of Tarkov and other kind of more action-oriented streams while still putting on a pretty chill vibe. So, do go check them out.
I don't understand how Danica does it. Tarkov is so stressful.
Jaffer does it
I
too.
haven't played Tarkov in a while. I used to like Tarkov a lot.
I have never done Tarkov.
Stress.
Is it more or less stressful than, whatever you call it? That one game that we play twice a week? Barrel Trauma.
Barrel
Yeah.
trauma.
I'd
I'd say it's more stressful than barrel trauma.
Yeah. It's just a different kind of stressful, though. Like, it's very intense, but from the one time I played, it was very fun.
It's
Time
fun.
frame. A hate raid is literally what it sounds. People come in and degenerates come in and do nothing but spread hate for whoever they're going in at. The furries and LGBT, etc. I can never remember that full acronym. We get targeted a lot. I'm honestly surprised I have not been targeted by one. Like, I've been going so long on this.
I mean, honestly, I'm tempted to say it's just luck, because I've seen a lot of times how they target their rates, and it's either within a subgroup or a community. They specifically target people in that community, like, yeah, exactly, like people that are like FPS game fans or Tarkov fans. They go after people within the greater Tarkov or FPS community. Same for fighting games, same for that kind of thing. So the bigger that community, the more the chance you have to get those.
Yeah, but like playing a game like Tarkov or something, you're like, it's a chance that you might like run into shit like that. 'Cause, you know, you have shitters that will just be like, oh, ew, furry, gross, that kind of thing. Like, oh, he's the funny LGB bacon tomato. Let's go bully him and call him slurs because gamers. I don't know.
I know I've had a few, I have had a few people that are, yeah, it is a problem time frame. Also, good to see another fan of Jim Sterling. I know he had, or they had their, under 800,000K celebration recently. I feel bad
Sterling
for
is a
them
vibe.
with that. Huh?
Sterling is a vibe.
Yeah.
Love their content.
I love their content. I will say over the last few years, it's kind of gotten a little odd. Like, Sterling has always been weird. But it's just gotten more weird, if anything. But at the same time, they have very solid opinions on things. They have wonderful content. It's very highly well produced. Well, unless it's intentionally low quality.
But then it's beautiful.
Then it's beautiful. But yeah, I enjoy Sterling, Jim Sterling, James Stephanie Sterling. I am probably being terrible with this, calling them whatever. I'm gonna stop now.
Relatable problems.
Go check them out. Yeah, I've had a couple of one-offs, Danica. I know there was one group of people that tried to get some hate going. Like, they actually doxed me and stuff. But they didn't find up-to-date information. So I was pretty safe on that front in general.
That's good.
And they're in prison now, so there's that.
That's good.
Deserved.
Well, they kind of sent a faulty explosive device to my grandparents.
The fuck?
That's insane.
Yeah. And it was all because we killed them in Sea of Thieves.
I mean, yeah, that's just natural, you know? Somebody kills you in Sea of Thieves, you try to kill them in real life. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, someone kills you in Sea of Thieves, just send a pipe bomb to their mailbox.
Jeez.
People are just, like, insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that was a thing that happened. That was a little bit of a stressful time, but at the same time, I've also taken steps to protect myself preemptively from things like that. I had a friend look into it, and it seems that they found that info from one of my grandparents' Facebook, and I have since been like, hey, make that private. So it's not going to be a problem again.
I still think, like, the best descriptor I heard of these kinds of people is just, these people need therapy, but instead of going to therapy, they're gonna make it your problem instead.
Yeah.
Because goodness.
These people need Jesus.
I think I've told you about the one guy that Harbus, me, and a few other people had an issue with, like, years ago. That was an issue that went on for over a year.
Oh, jeez.
Someone that we could just not get rid of, and they kept harassing. I mean, they were really going at Harbus, which is really creepy and made Harbus feel really uncomfortable and kind of like worried because it was very bad, very creepy, like threatening kind of stuff. Like, we didn't do too much to me. They just, like, would come and make alt accounts and harass me when I streamed. And, like, blamed me for things. And, you know, they got banned from my Twitch channel multiple times from different alt accounts and my Discord on alt accounts.
This is one reason why I like Telegram so much, is the simple fact that it's hard to make alt accounts on there. At least cheaply. Like, the fact that it requires a cell phone or a telephone number just made, like, those aren't easy to acquire. They require money.
Yup.
You can turn on phone verification required on Discord servers now.
Yeah, but you can use, like, the phone verification. You can use the same one for multiple accounts.
Why? Well, I mean, I understand why, but also, if you ban the person who that account is tied to their phone number from a server, that number should be banned from your server.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or you should be able to IP ban people.
Hey there, Engineers Fox. You know, you've been missing some streams you probably would enjoy. I've been doing a lot of Factorio lately.
I agree with Wild Saber's comment. Yes.
About a Megazoid? Yeah.
Yes. I want... Oh, you know what would sell so much? A Gundam level for this.
There's a lot that would sell very easily and very well on this. What was that?
Goodness. Is that or just a mech in general?
I mean, they kind of had it with the statue.
Oh. Well, they did it a while ago, so I may have just not caught it. Or if it got added, or I just didn't get to it.
It's part of the story.
I'm gonna get back on it then, just out of interest. Watching you play it makes me want to play it. It's just that when I played it, it was so relaxing that I was falling asleep. Yeah.
Well, time frame. Unfortunately, Rygon had to step out.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't upset him too much.
Oh.
He's, I mean, from the stream on the side, he's just kind of chilling right now. So. Also, I never got to it, but I did want to comment on one thing in particular. Because I almost completely forgot, and now that I'm reminded, this is a thing that I obsess over these things. Okay, I need to talk about them someday. My brain needs to use the useless knowledge.
Okay.
So, nuclear reactor.
You can go ahead and go on with what you need to get out. And it's okay, Engineers Fox. I know that life can be busy, and it's okay. Real life takes priority, especially over streams where I'm just sitting here making Gib Gab sweat and itch more to respond.
You know what would be nice, though? I really wish that people, like, companies would start adopting 4-day work weeks, because it'd just be more free time for Twitch streaming.
I agree.
Yeah. I wish my company would do that.
I was looking at some of the latest results for studies on 4-day work weeks. It literally is just more money for free. Your employees work less, but it turns out happier employees work better. You pay them the same amount of money to work less, and they'll actually make you more money.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
When they actually aren't miserable and will stick with their job, you don't have to spend all that money on rehiring new people.
Yeah, not even just rehiring people. You'd also have to spend money, like, I don't know, trying to convince your employees that, hey, work for this company. Also, let me produce $50 million worth of ads about why you should never join a union. I mean, a thing that we shall not mention.
Oh god. Oh man, America is so bad at the union busting. It's so It's infuriates me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love a 4-day work week. I was looking over it and it was like, yes, more Twitch streaming time. I mean, time to do productive things and self-care, yes.
Man, I'd love to have a 4-day work week. These 7 days a week are just brutal.
Yeah, and you even work like overtime with no extra pay, you know? No
I
guaranteed
know.
overtime pay. I mean, I guess on the plus side, I don't know, I mean, your manager's a little flexible with what you do on the job at the moment during your shifts.
Yeah, that is fair. At least at the moment.
And you get to keep all your tips.
Well, I mean, there's processing, and the processing fees can be a little meh. But yeah,
True.
in general.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of the upsides, you know? And also
But
you
at
get
the
response.
at the same time, filing taxes with this kind of job, like, oh, that's terrible.
I still say
Hey, the taxes are
automate
kind of annoying. That's why I pay someone else to do my taxes for me, because I can't be bothered to figure it out myself.
it.
Oh,
Yeah, that,
I would love to do that, but I can't find anybody willing to do it.
streamer taxes are that rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, Wereni,
Well,
yes.
they're specifically made more complicated.
Yeah, America
Yes.
is just a fuck when it comes to taxes. Just like the IRS is like, how much do you think you owe us? And then if you give them the wrong amount, they beat the everling fuck out of you.
Yeah, did you know over like something like 40, 50 something percent of taxes just are automatically basically already calculated by the IRS. Like they basically already know how much you have to pay them before you even have to file out taxes. There's a good reason why they don't automate the process more. It starts with turbo and ends with tax. And it rhymes with intuit.
Yeah, that's how it is. Oh man, the story of why so many things suck in America is there's some company that lobbied for something.
Money.
Yeah, we took corruption and called it lobbying, and now it's legal. And
I
they
feel
can do
like
it as much as they want.
that corner kind of looks like a stealth bomber.
The company I work for just recently released a stealth bomber.
Ah, I see. I mean, I guess it'll be secret. Hey, what's that sound I hear overhead? Uh, but yes, nuclear reactors.
I need to step away for a minute, but fine. Go ahead, KidCap.
Don't worry, I just need to respond to a thing. So, time frame. Thing is, nuclear pollution bad, radiation bad, but it can be handled fairly reliably and safely if it's done properly. There's two problems with nuclear reactors. Number one, they're all ancient. Like, there are
The designs are very old. That
yeah,
they
like. Sorry, go ahead.
so most of the reactors we haven't really built any new reactors in a long time. So like the ones we have are pretty old now and using like pretty antiquated technology for reactors.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot different types of reactors we could explore that we just haven't.
Because money.
Yeah. And also like the regulatory thing of like getting, using a different type of reactor would be a nightmare. Like if you wanted to like, oh, let's use a breeder reactor, for instance, that would be such a long time and a lot of money to ever get one of those, like the past regulations and what safety standards that has to have, because it's new technology that they haven't really. They've done it before. It works. They know it works. They just, how do you do that like commercially? Is the issue.
Yep. Because the time frame was getting to a good point, and it's that yeah, they remove a lot of safety features because cost, or they skimp out on a lot of safety, and that's true, and that should just be illegal. That's why we should never ever have for-profit nuclear reactors. They should just be like, hey, government, please
I mean,
operate nuclear reactors.
I think all utilities should be government owned and not owned by companies, because you just get
Or-
shittier product that way.
Wereni, you're asking too much of America, okay?
I know.
But yeah, agreed. Just especially nuclear reactors shouldn't be private, because one thing is to lose your internet connection or your power network. Another thing is for a nuclear meltdown to occur.
Mm-hmm.
But also time frame. Fukushima wasn't necessarily the fault of for-profit operating a nuclear reactor that skipped out on the security features. It was just that a massive earthquake was followed by a massive tsunami that directly hit the plant, and it also coincided with an engineering failure. So it's been multi-layered and multifaceted, but in essence, it's combining everything into one. Like nuclear disasters like that are very rare because they require a lot of things to go wrong at the same time.
Yeah,
In this case,
like
yeah.
Fukushima was a very they rolled very bad. They rolled a NatWad on everything they could have rolled that day. Having a 9.0 earthquake followed by a massive tsunami. Like, I forget how many people died. There was like 18,000 people. Like, so a large amount of people died from that tsunami and earthquake. And then, the reactor blowing up afterwards is also really bad.
Well, it didn't blow up.
It melted down, and then the hydrogen explosions that
Yeah.
blew open the containment buildings.
I mean, even then, like, did it even melt down? I don't remember if it did. 'Cause I
There
remember-
was, I think, 2 meltdowns and like 1 partial meltdown.
Yeah, though even then, despite everything, like, it was a pretty nasty disaster, but all things considered, the fact that it took all of that to cause the disaster, and even then, it was,
Yeah, the disaster could have been avoided pretty easily.
oh, it could have, but also,
It
like,
just, so many things went wrong that made it like impossible for. They made it like happen. Like the
Alright,
power failing because of
back.
the earthquake.
welcome back.
The tsunami hitting and flooding the basements where the generators were, cutting, the ability to cool the plant. Them not having any backup systems anywhere nearby to quickly like roll onto the plant and to provide emergency power. The fact that the Japanese government, I mean, both TEPCO, Japanese government, and International Nuclear Atomic Agency or whatever, they all warned that specific plant that, like, hey, this seawall is not big enough. And, TEPCO ignored it, and then, Fukushima happened.
Yep. So it could have been easily avoided, and honestly, like, I still give it credit, despite the fact that it happened, and with everything going wrong, it's still, relatively speaking, it didn't actually go that badly. It could have been far worse.
And,
Yeah, it
and
could have been
it,
far worse.
it just took so much for it to actually fail.
Yeah, it took a lot. A lot of things had to go perfectly wrong for that to happen.
Yep. Even Chernobyl, which was the worst, it took so much going wrong and just coalescing it in a single place. And just exacerbated by so many systemic issues for it all to go wrong. But it was like, yeah, let me balance myself on the ledge of the cliff on a skateboard that's tilted sideways. While I'm blindfolded, I'm gonna tie my hands behind my back and then I'm gonna do a spin. Like, oh, everything went wrong. But the fact that it was held like that for so long and then nothing went wrong is just a borderline miracle because everything had to go wrong there. And it did.
Yeah, so many things. Oh man, it was like so many compounding issues that led to that disaster
Mm-hmm.
that like would have been so easy to prevent.
Which is kind of why
But
I
it
say,
was like this incompetence and arrogance that like led to that, and the systemic issues of the Soviet Union and all that.
yeah, shout out to the fact that they, in theory, knew that there could be an issue with the scram button, and they never fixed it because, oh, that would have cost money, so censor
Yep.
the reports. Which, for reference, for anyone not aware, the scram button is the emergency shut down the reactor, except in this
Yeah.
case, the shut down the reactor button made the reactor explode.
Yeah,
Oh.
because positive void coefficient and graphite tipped control rods.
Yeah.
So I mean, to actually make it do that, like they already had to had pushed the reactor to like its limit, which they did. They had caused normal like operating procedure would have like made them shut down the reactor like long before what happened, but they like ignored it and kept trying to do what they were trying to do, even though they knew it was unsafe, and they pushed the reactor way too hard, and then they had a huge spike in power because of it, because they like pulled all the control rods out, which get a huge spike in power that way, which like starts to run away. And they thought they had a like safety switch with AZ5 or the scram button, and when they pushed it, the first thing to enter the reactor was the graphite tips, which is a moderator. So it caused an increase in reactivity even further, which made it skyrocket and then explode.
Mm-hmm. Basically, putting the tip of the control rod set made it go boom. Which, if you think that's a little bit of a safety flaw, yes, it's a big safety
It's a
flaw.
big one, and they knew about it. They knew that could be an issue.
It's just the plant operators didn't, because the government knew, but the government went, if nobody knows about it, it's not a problem, and we don't have to fix it. That won't cost us money.
Yeah, the thing is, like, the people like, oh, that's just a Soviet Union thing, but no, it's an American thing too. We do the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just thankfully, America at least has systems to eventually get that out into the public, and as
Yeah.
where it needs to be. Which is why I keep saying transparency is the greatest ally of nuclear power. When things are nice and transparent, then we get to share information and be like, hey, this is a problem, let's fix it.
Yep.
Usually it tends to kind of get fixed sometimes. And also time frame yesn't. That tends to be a little more complicated. Yeah, in theory, if you have more nuclear reactors, you have more chances for meltdowns. But that's like saying, hey, if I have more people, there is a greater chance that more people will exist. I mean, yeah, there's obviously greater chances, but the chance just depends on a lot of other factors. Like, consider the fact that there are hundreds of reactors across the planet, and the relative frequency of meltdowns has not increased over time. Like, yeah, there are more meltdowns because there are nuclear reactors, but there have been two big accidents essentially, and one was in 1980 and one was in 2012. Those are the two big accidents. And 3 Mile was all things considered big accident, but not on the scale of the other two, to the point where it's like a top-tier disaster, like full nuclear meltdown type of disaster.
Yeah. 3 Mile was like a partial meltdown. They did a big oopsie doopsie with that one.
But that's kind of the thing, right? Like, we haven't had that many big incidents because we are afraid of nuclear power. Yeah, like Gostein says, like, nuclear power is kind of problematic and dangerous. Maybe we should take precautions with it. And honestly, in theory, I think a lot of the issues does come from the lack of investments in nuclear reactor and technology. Because if we did invest better in our security and in modern reactors, we could avoid so many incidents.
Yep.
I mean, that's kind of the case with everything, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally, we wouldn't even be in this climate crisis if we would actually, bother to invest into alternatives for, coal and gasoline and the like.
Yeah. It turns out long-term thinking is a good idea. And even for nuclear power, like, it doesn't look like it, but the lack of investment hurts more and more every day. Because climate crisis makes climate events get worse. And nuclear reactors don't like big climate events. Nuclear reactors don't like hurricanes or earthquakes or tsunamis. And a lot of that becomes much worse with climate change,
Yep.
global warming. And like in Florida, there's a nuclear reactor. Did you know? It's like 60, moving on to 80, because they approved another extension, so it's going to be like 80 years old at one point, in one of the most hurricane-prone states in the country.
Yeah. Surely nothing could eventually go wrong here.
Nope, not at all. Never.
Part of me wonders if these aren't being built by, because the thing is that coal companies and corporations and such that don't want these things to come about. Hey, let's just build this reactor in a hurricane-prone state, so when it goes nuclear, when it melts down, oh, everybody's going to be even more terrified of nuclear.
I'll say if that's their goal, they're doing a terrible job of it because not an accident has happened. Florida actually has some pretty stringent regulations with that reactor, precisely because it's in a hurricane-prone area. And right now, there's a big push to upgrade its safety measures because it turns out, hey, hurricanes are getting worse and worse. Maybe we should repair the reactor for it.
Yeah,
And,
the main thing is making sure they can get water to pumps to keep the reactor cool and the fuel rod pools cool.
I mean, getting the water to the reactor pool is not a problem in a hurricane.
You'd be surprised.
You see the water and power the pumps. That's all they really need.
Just open up the roof. There you go. All the water.
But American power grid, not good.
No, it's not.
I'll say time frame honestly. The issue with nuclear power usually isn't necessarily meltdowns, it's disruption to it. So like this is the reason why renewables are going to need other power sources. Like we can't only have solar or wind, as much as I would love it. We need things like hydroelectricity or nuclear because essentially
you need that like consistent baseload power because solar, wind, they fluctuate a lot. We don't really have a decent way of storing the power.
Yeah, we need because power in the grid has to equal demand, we need a way to just really quickly ramp up generation at a moment's notice. Nuclear reactors and hydroelectric power plants are very good at it. It's just, that's going to be an issue later on for us.
Yeah.
It's also why I don't actually think we'll ever get rid of fossil fuels entirely. But I actually wouldn't mind if we went hey, let's have 5% of our national grid from natural gas or oil or something, just in case of emergency. Okay, fine. I understand that. But minimize it, please, goodness. We don't want it to be 60% of the national power grid or more.
Yeah. Here in the Northeast, in New Jersey at least, I think 50% or 60% of our power comes from nuclear. So we have a lot of nuclear plants up here.
The country I lived in, Venezuela, actually had over 60%, 70% of its power provided by one giant dam.
Oh wow.
It was big. And it took a decade of mismanagement and lacking maintenance for it to actually begin properly failing. Turns out they're pretty resilient. Still hasn't collapsed either.
There's a lot of things that are very resilient.
Yeah. You know what, funnily enough, is one of the most accident-prone power sources? Do you want to take a guess?
Natural gas.
Any of the three. Any of the big three, coal, natural gas, and oil. They tend to be very accident-prone.
Yep.
Well, yeah, it turns out that when you're literally trying to set stuff on fire, things can go wrong with fire.
We have so many ways of boiling water, yet we choose like the worst ways.
And time frame. Geothermal is very hot, unintended, but it's not sufficient in large quantities. Though it is something that I do like. You know, that's the thing. I don't think any singular power source is ever gonna be good. It's just I would honestly love if we could just, hey, let's grab some geothermal here, some hydroelectric here. We'll put some nuclear over here, and then we can make a large part of it be solar and wind.
Yep, we just gotta like diversify our energy sources and like don't rule any energy source out. Just like, you know, hey, we could use some of this here, some of this here, and just, you know, work together to, you know, meet our power demands for. I mean, also we need to like heavily upgrade our grid because it's how like it currently is. It's like decrepit and failing all over the place. Like, you know, where I live in New Jersey, we get like 2 to 3 blackouts a month.
No way. You're telling me the power grid is old and hasn't taken advantage of modern technologies that could help avoid power grid failures?
Yeah.
Oh, let's not also forget the fact that it's so exceedingly vulnerable.
Yeah.
Don't
be worried about Russia like nuking us. Be worried about like Russia doing a cyber attack to take out our power grid.
Oh gosh. Oh. I was looking at a security report by I think it was the DoD, and they were like, so in theory, if Russia nuked Washington D.C., that would be a lot of damage, right? Like they could nuke New York City, and that would be very bad. But they could cripple the entire American economy with like one cyber attack at the right place. Just cripple this one power grid place, and you can collapse the entire U.S. power grid.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No, and that's something that they would, you know, survive. Like, you know, we're not gonna nuke them because they cyber attacked us.
Yep.
So that's not like end of the world scenario. It's just, well, America gets fucked scenario.
Well, let's face it, the vast majority of us would probably, across the entire country, would probably die if we lost electricity. We really would.
Zim. Speaking as someone who literally had to spend a month without power, I absolutely agree. So many Americans would die. Like, just the first week, they would be like, I don't have my phone. I'm gonna sit in the bathroom and cry. My phone is out of battery. I don't have internet. Help.
Yeah.
I'm not even meaning like that. I'm meaning like we don't know how to survive without modern technology.
We don't. People would just die.
Because everything is powered by electricity. Like your water comes from electricity. Go flush a toilet without water. You can't. What are you gonna do after a week? Like, how do you take a shower? Like, pour water for yourself when it comes usually out of a fridge, which needs power.
Yeah.
And yeah, cool. There's bottled waters in the store. We all know what happened during pandemic.
Oh my god. It does depend on. You are right, Jaffer. It does depend on how long. However, I will also say that if they hit the right places, they could knock out the entire U.S. power grid for a good, solid, possibly even a year.
No, probably more like a month tops.
It depends. I mean, some places could be a very long time. But like, if they hit it where they damage the transformers, that could be a pretty long road recovery to get all the power back, because the transformers are you know,
Marketplace.
made to order and they take a long time to make.
Yeah,
They
the thing
take
is,
a
like,
long time to make, and there's also the fact that, like, especially right now, there's shortages of everything. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
they'd be able to prioritize that, but there's still the fact that there are shortages of everything that would go into those.
I mean, all things considered, I do think, yeah, like the optimistic view was like they would basically be able to get it up and running everything within a week. The more pessimistic was probably most of the US would see power back within about a week to a month, depending on the areas. There would be a lot of areas that wouldn't be without power, but honestly, the government could actually like reasonably help deal with that. Like in under most circumstances, probably it would be a really nasty thing and it would cost the US a few $1 trillion in terms of lost revenue and economy losses. But honestly, most people with good government intervention could actually probably reasonably come out of it unscathed. It's just that it'll require the government to do something. And I don't know if they can or will. And that
Yeah.
scares
Oh,
me.
but $600 is all we need to pay for our rent
Zim, you
and
spent,
food
like,
and
no, Zim, you were like unemployed for 6 months during the pandemic. $1,400 is more than enough to cover for your rent. Come on.
Doesn't even pay 1 month rent.
Not even. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those cases where it's probably one of those scenarios that the U.S. government can't actually ignore. But like even the 2003 power grid, which was really nasty, even that got repaired pretty quickly, all things considered. Or it would be a hard recovery, but it's doable. The thing more importantly is that the US power grid has been made more resilient in terms of like starting it back up for these kinds of outages after 2000. It was 2003, right? Like the big power outage.
Yeah.
Yeah. After that, it got made fair bit more resilient. There's a lot of things that have been applied. Still vulnerable, don't get me wrong. But basically, like if there is a disaster, it can recover way quicker. If an issue like this had come up in the year 2000, the U.S. could have just imploded for like a month straight without power across basically every major city. Though, I think it could be fine. Although, yeah, at least to a degree, like back in Venezuela, because a lot of there was an expectation that you wouldn't have power. A lot of people started taking precautions around having no power. So like, oh, a month of power outages. Yeah, that hurt. But most people were relatively fine. Lack of power in hospitals was not a fine thing. But for most people, it was like
Yeah.
a dealable with thing. Here in the US, I don't know what you do. Like you can't get water without power. What do you do? We had power. We had water stored in like barrels and just tubs across the house because yeah, we run out of power. How do you brush your teeth without water? Well, you store a big 4-liter bottle of water under your sink and you replace it every so often. And there you go. Take a mouthful every day, and that's a lot of mouthfuls. We need drinking water. Yeah, we have about 10 liters stored. And we can boil it because we have a thing that we can just put the charcoal under. Like we have the grill and we can just boil water with that. It's not too hard.
like people here in the US would like we have the tools available. It's more a matter of nobody knows how to use them. And without
Yeah.
power, there's no internet, and everybody relies on the internet, and well,
It's great. Also, hard disagree time frame. We live in a cyberpunk dystopia already.
Yeah, we live in a cybertalk dystopia with none of the cool aesthetics.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, you wanted some cool robotic augmentations? Maybe even some furry TF? Haha, lol, no. You just get exploitation.
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
favorite expression is that America is a third world country with a Gucci belt.
Yeah. Spout sums it up. Also, one thing that would absolutely like, fuck the U.S. Like, I don't think there would be a way. I mean, they say, oh, well, there's plans if it happens, it could recover, but like if the U.S. got like EMP'd like off like the eastern starboard, like even eastern seaboard, is be like game over. Like there's no way I see them like being able to recover from something like that.
Maybe. I mean, look on the plus side. You get rid of Florida.
True, but I live outside of New York City, so I would be fucked. And you know, an EMP, I can't leave. What I'm gonna do? Take a car? All the cars are not gonna work anymore.
Take a
Rykon, you're
bicycle.
back.
Yep, I am back. Hello.
It's really good
Unless
to
you
see
find
you again.
a car from like before the 80s.
Give me a second. What's up, Sim?
Oh, I just said it's really good to see you again.
Yeah, I had time to cool off. Played a game with
Alright.
Panth for a little bit.
Nice.
We're just talking about the U.S. being a third world country with a Gucci belt.
Yeah, and I just mentioned what would happen if the U.S. got hit with an EMP.
Oh,
We're
Well,
getting
that's
into
even
some
assuming that
spicy
we could.
topics.
I mean, no. I wouldn't put it past the US to be simultaneously the most impenetrable fortress ever built on this planet, and also, hey, look, we accidentally managed to smuggle in an EMP into the country. Boop.
well, I feel like whatever
Oh.
happens, it'd have to be an inside job of some sort.
Definitely.
Which, considering how much the corruption with Russia is going, I honestly wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, really, all it would take is like someone, like a submarine launch off the East Coast, and with the those new faster missiles, get it up high enough high in the atmosphere over the East Coast, detonate it.
That's just it.
Just-
If you're depending purely on missiles, there's plenty of things to go against that.
Honestly, I don't even put it to that because, like, in all fairness, missiles are really hard. Even for the US, it's hard to intercept the missiles once they're in orbit.
Yeah,
It's just that the US
It would have such a
intelligence-
short flight time, there would not be enough time to respond.
Like,
Fair enough.
we can't really intercept ICBMs. It's just that what to me is insane is the U.S. Surveillance network for foreign
Yeah.
adversaries is like. I'm guaranteedly sure that the U.S. knows exactly where every single other stealth screen is on this planet.
Potentially. But it could be that they don't even need to know. Be like, all right, so you've hit us with an EMP. Great. We've got plenty of facilities, the ones with nukes that have, anti-EMP capabilities. Bye.
Also true.
Yeah.
Hey there, Schmeat Inspector. Thank you for that follow.
That's a name.
That is a name.
I love it.
What to play now? I've been playing Case Cracker, or Case Cracked, or whatever, for a while. Me and Panth solved the case together. That was kind of fun.
I got lost about halfway through the case.
That's okay. All you needed to know is the boy did it.
Nice to meet you too.
My friend has a car from like the 1980s that I think would survive an EMP. So he'd still have a vehicle at least.
I'm kind
but
of
the-
tempted. Go ahead.
Oh. Yeah, that's saying the car wouldn't be able to go very far since all the roads would be clogged with everyone else's dead car.
Bicycles. They are the way of the apocalypse.
Yep.
Can't EMP a bicycle.
Drops the EMP on your bicycle. But yeah, you were thinking of playing?
But yeah, I'm just thinking of playing something else now. But the thing I was kind of thinking is maybe some of these Dungeons and Dragons, like Dungeon Explorer things. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Good old dungeon run.
Nice.
Those are fun.
But yeah, just and this will be the only statement I make on it, Zim. Well, just even my patience has its limits, all right?
I understand.
But I do treasure you as a good friend. You are a great guy. And trust me, I'll let you know if anything goes too far along.
All right.
All right. You want to do something together, or are you too busy with Factorio?
I'm actually doing PowerWash with Wereni.
Oh, very nice. Well, don't let me bother you both then.
I mean, you're more than welcome here.
No, isn't that just a 2-player?
Oh, well, I was meaning... I thought you were meaning, like, call. I'm like, you're very welcome in the call.
No, yeah. I was talking about joining the game or something.
Yeah, we're, finally doing the campaign with Wereni. Or for Wereni. So that way, if he does join us for some of the free play stuff, where it has up to, I think it's 6 players?
Yay.
He's not running around with starter equipment.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I was saving this game for when I would stream it, and I just, haven't been able to stream in months, so I never got around to playing it.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Man, my viewership died. Yeah, what's up?
I am thinking of this being the last map for this that I do tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, after this one, I think I'll be done too, because it's 4:25 a.m. my time. The reason I'm still awake is because I've been drinking like caffeinated beverage.
Is 4:25 a.m. supposed to be an issue? What do you
Also,
mean
I had
that's
a-
in normal hours?
I had a 2-hour nap like earlier as well, so I got that going too.
Oh, that'll do it. All right. Well, I'm looking for the next thing. I want to do some achievement hunting. And I actually do enjoy this Case Cracker game. I've just been playing it for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only play one game for so long before I gotta switch it up.
Yeah,
Same.
with my ADHD, that's what I gotta do. It's like,
Yeah.
Yay, I finally made my character. Well, time to play something else.
Oh God, there have been so many
Yeah.
times where I have, like, I used to set up my own mod packs for Minecraft. I enjoyed it, figuring out everything. But it's like, okay, I've got the hankering to play some Minecraft, and I just spent the last week setting everything up to play Minecraft. And now now my craving is gone. Same
Yeah,
has
that's-
happened with Skyrim.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I've set up for Skyrim, got all the mods set up, literally hundreds of mods, and then by the time I finally got everything working together, I was so burnt out on setting up the whole thing, I couldn't do it. I like booted it up. I'm like, yes, it booted up. And then it just like, I'm done.
The game was getting it working.
Pretty much. That was the puzzle I enjoyed solving. It wasn't playing it, it was just doing the puzzle of just getting it working.
Yeah, nowadays though, I've just given up with making custom mod packs with Minecraft at least, because it's like, I'm just going to use something somebody else put out there. Get that craving out of the way. It's a bit less of a headache. Then I'll go play something else.
Shout out to when you're in the middle of like doing the thing, you're setting up everything, and then either the game updates or one of the big mods updates and breaks everything.
No. Why are you triggering PTSD?
Pain.
God, I had that happen so many times. And especially with Skyrim, where it's like everything automatically updates because it's Steam. And it's like,
Yeah.
no!
Project Zomboid mods can be very temperamental as well. Just, automatic update Steam, and if you're running a server with friends, it's one mod update. It is not with the server, and suddenly no one can play in the server anymore until you restart the server and update it.
We actually had that today, sort of, with Fantasy Grounds. With Fantasy Grounds, you get to choose when you do an update. However, one of the players did an update or updated their Fantasy Grounds, and some versions you can still connect with an outdated version, and other versions they are like, well, we had to change some stuff, so now everybody has to update. And one of the players updated Fantasy Grounds, or their Fantasy Grounds, and they couldn't roll it back, so everybody else had to shut it down and update it, and that made a delay for getting started today.
Oh man.
It wasn't a huge delay, but it's still a similar problem.
Damn it, now you got me in the mood to do potentially like a Skyrim mod. Like to go and find a bunch of them and just tie them all together.
Go for it.
Yo. If I'm gonna do that, then I have to wipe one of my SSDs. The thing is I'm not entirely sure which SSD to wipe.
Oh, my SSDs are my laptop's SSDs are at a constant state of like 95% full.
Oh man.
Please keep like 10% free. This is my rule of thumb.
Well, I do have 10% free between the two of
For the boot
them.
disk, at least. For the boot disk.
I got 10% free for the two of them.
Yoy. Neck.
I feel like I'm triggering Gib Gab.
Oh, no. Snack joint.
Oh, Sneck has come back.
Hey, old pal.
But look, if you want to have a fun time, just fill up your laptop's boot SSD and then turn it off and on and see what happens. Please don't do that. It can be a pain in the butt.
Oh, I know.
I know that there was a Skyrim mod that, like, if you say a certain word, it will cause something to happen. So if you say dragon, it causes a dragon to spawn.
Yeah.
And so Twitch chat would try to like trick people into saying dragon.
Amazing.
Yeah,
It's like,
time
oh, man,
frame.
this stream.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, time frame. That is a big hindrance. It's just losing interest in projects before they get realized.
Yep. Like, I still got to do that Fallout New Vegas run. Because somebody, I believe Zora brought that as, like, the next game for me to play. I said I'd do it, but I needed to set up some mods for it, and then I just never did it. Because that takes work.
Honestly, this is why I began to run games basically vanilla. It takes so long to set up a mod sometimes.
But that's just it. I love mods because they can enhance the quality of a game.
Uh-huh.
Especially a Bethesda game.
No, but honestly,
Well, no.
sometimes.
Mods don't enhance the quality. They just bring it up to the equal with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
They fix
tomato.
It just works.
It just works. Little lies, stunning shows, people buy, money flows. It just works.
This stream seems to drag on, and then a dragon just fucking spawns in. They're buying Fallout for the mods, not the game.
Okay, so where's Arzy at?
No, he's the dragon that spawns.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Arzy's an absol.
What is up
Plush
with that,
Absol.
anyways?
Oh, nothing. I'm just teasing him.
Oh, I
Arzy is
was
just
like,
a cute
is there
Absol.
art that I missed or something?
No, it's something I've teased him about before. So it's
Ah.
more of an in-joke than anything.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think it's like with you and me and Spoink.
I need to get
Well,
Absol TF sometime.
Well,
I haven't
Spoink is a
done
funny
that one
word.
yet.
Yeah. Oh, Wereni. I think I remember you saying something about skunk.
Yes, skunk.
Skunk.
Yeah, that
Skunk
might
TF.
happen in about,
Yeah.
3 years.
Oh, okay. I'll be sure not to hold my breath then.
Inspiration is a fickle mistress.
We need to get Snack TF.
Well, that's why. Yes, I completely agree.
I
I mean,
mean,
if you can
I'll,
find an artist.
I'll pal, I got Sea Serpent. Is that
Yeah.
close enough?
Yeah. Salty noodle.
I mean, for me, I'm legitimately a guy that if you just give me an artist and they are relatively well priced, I've got no problem spending the money for that. I put aside
Alright.
like at least $200 to $300 every paycheck just to get art with.
Yeah,
I
I just
wanna-
need to wait for Muns. Myself.
I want art.
Same.
But right now,
Gotta-
I am trying to break myself of that addiction because I can't afford to get all the art that I want.
I think that would be healthy for you.
Yeah.
I am trying to break myself of a lot of addictions. It is not easy.
Well,
There we
if you
go.
ever
We
need
done
to,
did it.
just don't forget to, talk to people. If you feel the craving, talk to someone. That might be enough to help, let the craving pass.
That was part of what was bugging. Part of what was bugging me today was the diet and
Yeah.
art craving and stuff.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, Zim, you're not a subtle individual. And that's not a bad thing, mind.
Oh, it drives me so crazy when people are trying to read between my lines. It's like, dude.
What do you mean?
Oh, I've gotten some people in the past where they try to read between the lines of things I say. And I'm just sitting here like, dude, I speak in all caps. There is nothing subtle about me.
Yeah. Pretty much you are what you see is what you get. And that's kind of what makes you to be like that's what makes you a good streamer is because you're honest like that and people can tell. People can always tell when somebody's genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Zim is genuinely a cute bean.
For real.
Zim is cute bean.
Joke.
I'm sorry, Chad. I'm looking for something to play. I don't know what.
Did Marten do a climb?
I could maybe just start continuing working on the story I'm building.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah. It's an absol TF.
1 second. I'll probably be banned from
Oh.
the comment.
Nice.
Wait,
Call
why do
you
I need to
cute
be
bean.
banned?
Can't believe this. Unallowed.
Huh.
Any interest in some synthetic? Maybe not anything quite so energetic at the moment. I'd be willing to play that tomorrow. Oh my goodness, there's a really cool Noivern Zoro, not Zoroark, Lycanroc hybrid here
Ooh.
for 30 bucks.
Give me a moment. I'm going to split recordings
Okay.
Okay.
or end this recording.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today for PowerWash Simulator. Check out our website, zgfgaming.com. We've got links for our Discord, Telegram, Twitter, Patreon, and more. They're on the website as well as down in the description below through our link tree. Thank you to my patrons, donators, and subscribers. It is because of your support that I'm able to continue to bring this stream to you all. I really cannot do this without you guys supporting the channel, however you may support it. Consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/zgfgaming. It is one of the best ways to support the channel, though you can also do so by coming by and hanging out with me, keeping me some company, and by sharing the stream around. But for now, thank you all so much for joining, and I bid you the most fondest adieu.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.